there's a lot of double standards in our world in general, but especially in K-pop. I don't really like when people give off hateful energy, especially in the comment sections. But at the same time, this topic is kind of negative. So I'm just gonna try my best, and what I want us to do is have a healthy discussion instead of, oh, they're trash. So I thought there's mainly three types of double standards in K-pop. Number one, double standards between K-pop idols and Western musicians. Number two, the double standards between male idols and female idols. Number three, the double standards between famous idols and not famous idols. I thought these three were the main big categories. So I'll go into them one at a time and we could have a discussion, and you guys could also share me how you think. So starting with the first one, double standards between K-pop idols, Western pop stars. I really don't appreciate when Western or even Korean media try to compare the Western musicians and Korean idols, and then they call Korean idols manufactured and not musician, and it's not real art. I don't like the way they keep packaging and acting as if this is art that we're doing in America and what they're doing over there is factory. Because as someone who does music, I have people who work in the American music industry. I have people that I know who work in K-pop industry, okay? If anything, in my eyes, there's aspect in the Western music that are more factory-like than those of Korean idol culture. I find it very almost hypocrite behavior how Western artists, they package and hide the aspect of the manufactured factory aspect of their musical career, and they act like it's all just pure artistship. Also, they look at K-pop idols' choreography and how clean they dance. And you know how groups like 17, they have this thing called knife cut dancing. How does that achieved? That is achieved from hard work and hard effort, right? And you know what they say? Oh, it doesn't have emotion in the dance. It's because they just practiced a lot. I don't understand how you're putting down hard work, effort, choreography, and dancing with your lousy vibing dancing. Like, just because you didn't try hard and you didn't, synchronize, you're saying, oh, this is more artistic. Like, I'm not trying to put down all Western artists. There are definitely more aspect of artisticness when it comes to independent artists in some of the Western world. But I just don't like the fact that some of those hard worked aspects, there's a weird culture in Western music field, maybe just in Western work culture, where someone who tries harder at work is actually kind of viewed as, oh, like, why are you trying that hard? As someone who come from Asia, I feel like this kind of exists as in, oh, if you are trying that hard at the dancing, it's no longer art. I don't get it. I don't get where that logic comes from. I just feel like you're justifying because you don't want to be compared to someone who sings better and dance better. And because music is artistic area where it's hard to compare, I feel like a lot of times what they had to do to K-pop artists is they had to bring them down somehow. Because objectively, okay guys, I'm sounding a little bit defensive towards K-pop, but I really believe this. Objectively, I believe a lot of K-pop idols and K-pop music is just one of the highest quality in the world. As in, not just engineering-wise, not just musically, not just sound-wise, but the fact that, you know how they're packaged? They dance, they sing, they have great music video. Because they have such a high quality in every aspect, competitors have to think of a way to bring them down. And I think the conclusion they reached is, it's too manufactured, is the conclusion they reached. Because you can't say they're bad at dancing or they're bad at singing, because objectively those quality aspects are compared, like, it's just good. I am not denying the fact that there is a manufactured aspect in K-pop. In fact, most of it is. It is. Almost all of it. But you also have to know the entire music field is like that, not just K-pop. Like, I'm sorry if you wanted to believe it was full of artists, but realistically, in the pop music scene, it's hard for someone to just be, oh, I'm gonna write song in my room and then I'm gonna hit a Billboard charts. It's just, in a commercial world where we live in capitalism, it just doesn't work that way. I feel like it never worked that way even back in 70s. Okay, instead of just yapping, I'll tell you the details. For example, do you guys remember a recent case? There was a rapper who dissed Cortez saying, I'm not believing in something as art when 20 people gather up to write a one song. What was his name? I forgot his name. He's not even someone Matt Proxy. Why are you acting like that's not how Drake, that's not how Sabrina Carpenter, that's not how Taylor Swift works, that's not how Ariana Grande works? Like, what I'm saying is, if you guys just simply go to the credits in the top Billboard chart songs, you could find list of names in the credits, like list of list. And some of the times, not all people who contributed are always written on the credit. As in, the really small ones that are trying to make it up in the industry, their credits and their work gets hidden under big producer's name. For example, you'll have a track and it'll say produced by DJ Khaled. But then the one who actually wrote it is like this guy named Josh who lives in Massachusetts. But you won't know that because it's not always directly reflected. So I'm saying it's like, if you know so well that K-pop is being written by 20 people, you should know that so is the music that you're listening to in America. And if you guys feel like, oh no, but like my musician, they write their songs. Yeah, a lot of musicians write their own song. The thing is, in order to enhance and in order to make better art, it's not just like a commercial aspect. In order for you to make better music and better art, sometimes it's good to collaborate and it's good to have other people who are expertising in other instruments, other things. Like the whole music thing being self-written, this is a very recent idea. Back in the days, unless you're like a piano soloist, a lot of the music in human history is played by multiple people. We have orchestras, we have bands, and only recently, because people are able to have programs and make beats by themselves at home, we're able to have this thing where singer-songwriter or self-produced people like me, people like me who sit at home and make music by myself. But this wasn't always the format of music. So I don't like this idea where people say art is only art when you make it by yourself, even though I also feel that way in terms of music. The nature of music isn't always like self-written. I just prefer it. But I'm saying just because it's written with multiple people, that doesn't mean it's not art. And going back to the K-pop, that doesn't make them manufactured. And K-pop idol versus Western pop stars, when it comes to double standards, guys, there is such a big double standards between those two when it comes to crime and ethics. I always wanted to talk about this. Yo, why is it okay for rappers to commit crimes, but then idols can't hold strawberries correctly? Like, can someone please tell me, like, as in, why this is even existing in this way? How is Chris Brown beating up Rihanna and still performing at a concert? And then people are trying to cancel some Korean idols because their second grade friend wrote on Instagram saying they bullied me and stole my eraser. Like, do you get what I'm saying? It is different fandom. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. Like, it is different fandom, but sometimes it's not. Like, people would be listening to same musician, like they would be having Chris Brown on the playlist and EXO, and they would speak differently. Chris Brown's fine. Like, hopefully not. But I'm sure there is people like that. So in terms of the different standards when it comes to Western music and K-pop, here's my idea. I think people need to lower standard for K-pop and then increase some standards for American musicians. I draw the line at criminal. Is that wrong? I mean, hopefully I'm expecting a little bit more than that. Like, at least be a decent person. But like, for me, after criminal, it's hard. And the reason why I feel like this is double standard is because, okay, here's the thing. You could say, oh, it's a cultural difference because Korea is different culture than America. Hear me out. A lot of people who are watching this, we live in United States, correct? As in, we are currently talking with people who are consuming K-pop in the country of United States. I know some people aren't US citizens. I know some of you guys live in Canada, Mexico. But what I'm saying is this. If it is cultural, then why do some people still hold up Korean standard when they came to America's music scene? Like, if it is about culture, as in, it's not even like Korean people in Korean culture holding Korean standards to these idols. American person who was raised in America use Korean standards to cancel Korean idol. I feel like it's a little ironic. That's what I meant by double standard. Like, you're not even using American standard here. You're using Korean standard. They get influenced by Korean stance. I think that's true. I think that is actually true. And this is a whole different area of double standards. It's Western validation. You know, award ceremonies like Billboards, AMA. not just K-pop, this applies to a lot of international, but I feel like there is, I mean, it's probably true. There's double standards for K-pop in America compared to American pop in America. But at the same time, I don't feel like this double standard is even unfair or unexpected. It's because it's not native to this country. So I'm not surprised that some of the critics in this country or the people won't always be positive about giving them the awards. There's a idiom in Korean that says your arms, they only fold inward. You can't fold your arm outward, right? It basically means your preference is always going to be internal, as in internal, domestic, the people you're familiar with. So I just feel like when K-pop artists come to America's award ceremony or America's critics in general, they are held at much, much higher standards. Not just ethically, but even when they perform same statistically in terms of ticket sale, in terms of album sale, there is a tendency to underestimate or put down the achievements when it comes to K-pop groups. Like, if it was American artists who sold that many albums, they would have been like uprising artists. But then they're like, but it's K-pop artists, so the stats, we could like pull them down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, as in, okay, have you guys ever heard this? It's like, oh, K-pop fans buy more albums, so we should count their album sales less. And I'm like wait, I don't get that. Like, I don't get that. How is having a more loyal fan base supposed to work against them? Like, isn't it a good thing that they have a more loyal fan base instead of saying, oh, this is incorrect? And why are we acting like famous pop musicians like Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande, why are we acting like their fandom is not actively buying albums? They are all competing like that. Or, you know, like the worst things I've heard? It's like, oh, but people who listen to K-pop are just fangirls. To the point where it's not even about the idol. They put double standard and lower the audience of K-pop. Oh, if you get the K-pop audience from young girls, then that audience is not real audience. Like, why does it have to be a grown man's audience as a more superior audience than young girls' audience? Like, isn't it music? I don't understand why. Oh, because it's liked by teenage girls, it's less significant. This is not with K-pop. I also felt this back in the days with Justin Bieber or One Direction. Do you guys remember? Because young girls like them, people are like, it's just young girls liking them. Moving to part 2. I actually think I have a lot to talk about this. Double standards between male idols and female idols. I already talk about a lot of women's rights in my channel. I don't really want to be giving off energy of, by the way, I'm 6 feet and I love matcha. But okay, there's 100% double standard for male and female. That's 1,000 billion %. How about we start with dating? You know what I feel like is the biggest double standard? 2 idols date. 1 guy, 1 girl. Girl's career, absolutely ruined. Guy's career, not even affected. Nowadays, it's a little bit better, but wow. Few years ago, when female idols get involved in these kind of scandals, their career was ending. I'm kind of surprised someone like Karina is still ongoing as K-pop idol. Because if it had been back in like 2005, we would have no longer seen her at TV. It's also not just in K-pop. I agree. And I want to say some things that might be really controversial. Can you guys not put this on Twitter or something? I actually think if this gets clipped wrong, I might be faced by some extremists. So when idols get involved in dating scandal, the reason why fans get upset is what? It's a sense of betrayal. It's a sense of, oh, you lied to us. That applies to both gender, right? But what I feel like is different in terms of the two is, please bear with me even if this sounds disgusting, there is like a virginity that is viewed differently on male and female, especially idols, where for the guy, because automatically people are gonna assume like, oh, they did this when they start dating. But then I'm sorry, I'm explicitly talking about this, but because that purity image affects female idols much stronger, and that's why there's extreme double standards. So it's not just even like a K-pop double standard, but like more like a guy and girl double standard. Imagine what we have in daily life exaggerated. Also because I think female idols, they are sort of sold on that image. Even though this whole thing might sound disgusting, I also think it's kind of true. And going more, I actually thought it was so ironic where when it comes to girl idols, you're expected to be sexy, but not actually sexual. How ironic. People like when they sing sexy songs and they hit the charts. But when they actually find out they actually have been dating, disgusting, like they're not pure. Like, how weird is this? And it is actually double standard because when it's male idol and they sing a sexy song and they get caught with dating, people are like, well, are you surprised? They have been singing these songs. Bruh. They're expected to look confident. But also, if you act too confident, then they say you're a pick me. And female idols, you have to look natural. But when you try so hard, then people call you, oh, you're tryharding, you're wanting attention, you're manufactured. As in, there's so many weird double things that people expect from them. They want them to naturally dance well, but also don't want them to feel like they practiced 30,000 hours for it. They also want people to look naturally pretty without surgery, but also at the same time, they also have an expectation for people to be inhumanely pretty. Like, do you guys get what I'm saying? There's people expect this. It's like, basically it's like this. Like, turn left and start walking right. It's like, and like walk on land and start swimming. The request is like that. And the crazy part is idols are doing that. They are pulling that off where they're doing sexy concept, but they're not actually having, and I just feel like it applied stronger to girl idols. By the way, male idols have the exact same thing. It's just that it's a little bit stronger on the female. And another thing that gets affected stronger for girl idols when it comes to dating is when guy idol gets involved in a girl idol scandal, then people are like, oh, yeah, sure, he dated her, whatever. But then, when a girl idol dates a guy, you know what number one thing people talks about? She chose him. She has no taste in men. Like, do you guys get what you get judged for the type of men that you chose. Because why? For the guy, it's like, oh, like, he chose her because she's pretty. Done. But then, when the girl chooses the guy, then they're like... Really? Like this guy? You know what I mean? So when Karina got involved in the dating scandal, even though the other actor was handsome Korean actor, people are like, seriously? Like him? And I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong with him? He's handsome. And people are like, you didn't date Park Bo-gum. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. They expect the pretty idols to only date Chaonu. Like, if it's not Chaonu, then it's all disappointment. Wait, I don't get how Korean men are so popular, yet fans hate on the men. Am I making sense? Wait, hold up. I'm not saying all of this to hate men. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. Wait. When I talk about inequality, I am most definitely not on the side of hating men. I'm a man! Please don't hate men. I love men. Not like that way, but like, I'm team men. In fact, I'm trashier than most men out there. I'm not even like all that good of a man. But also, this is a lot of time discussed, the double standards for male and female idols when it comes to controversies. I really do have a feeling that guys get forgiveness much easier. And there's multiple factors behind this, where when a girl idol gets canceled with something, it follows them forever. Like they mention it forever and ever. And sometimes it's not even like something they did wrong. Like for example, even dating scandals, it follows girl idol forever. But then guy idols, people forget about it. Or people don't care. And I think there's a reason. It's because the fandom of male idol fans are more defensive. As in, girl idols get less protection, whether from company or whether from the fandom. Meanwhile, guy idols, also the benefit is, have I told you guys in my previous talk that in Korea at least, and a lot of times in general, girl idols are generally more known than the guy idols. Unless, we're talking about exception like BTS. Generally, girl idols are more bigger gossip. Because simply, it's like this. Girls enjoy girl idols and guy idols, but guys generally only really know about girl idols. So as a result, there's more traffic when it comes to girl idols. Even if two idols were to commit same level of controversy, I think male idol fandom is better at shushing. I don't know what the right word is. Shush! Keeping it quiet. And I think generally, we should let these people slide away with their mistake just a little bit more because I'm in the stance of giving more forgiveness. But sometimes they do forgive a little bit too easy. They give forgiveness a little bit too easy for the guys. But that's just sometimes. But I'll be honest, it's like this. I'm not even talking about mild level of controversy. You guys know Seungri from Big Bang? Yo, I could not believe there are people who are defending him as he was going into the jail. Can you believe that? Like, I was like, is this real? Are you serious? People defending Tae? I don't know what to say. Again, I crossed the line when it comes to crimes. And they clearly committed crime. And this also goes back to the Chris Brown situation. You know? And R. Kelly, like you said. Yes. This is not even like a K-pop thing. This is like a male artist thing. But yeah, there is definitely a different level of forgiveness. The third point, and the final point of today, double standards for famous idols and not famous idols. The whole reason why I want to talk about this is because I felt this so strongly with groups like BTS or Stray Kids or idols like Jang Won-young. When it comes to famous people are so hypocrite with them. As in, people put so many different standards onto them. Sometimes there's a reason for it, but sometimes I feel like it's very unfair to a certain level. I don't talk about girl idols a lot on my channel because mostly I listen to more male idols and I like them more. But at the same time, I listen to everything. And in terms of gossip and tease, I keep up with everything. And I honestly feel like Jang Won-young, she's just getting hated way too much for unreal standards people are putting on her and trying to cancel her. And I'm not even talking about one or two incidents. It's been since she debuted. Everyone all of a sudden put insanely high standard for Jang Won-young. Do you guys remember long time ago? She was eating strawberry with two hands and they canceled her because she's trying to act cute. How is this not double standards? As in, if you're someone who's been into K-pop, there's people who eat things worse. Literally, like, there's so many different times where idols try to look cute while they eat, while they do mukbang, while they do performance. And here's the thing, it's their job, right? And sometimes some of them are praised saying like, oh my gosh, someone looks so cute while they're eating something. And then when it comes to Jang Won-young, all of a sudden, everybody in the whatever freaking industry online goes like disgusting pick-me behavior. Filthy woman. I think she was barely 19 at the time? Something like that. Recently, did you know that she's getting majorly cancelled and hated because she didn't pull her mask all the way down at the airport when they were scanning for the face? And then apparently when she was talking to fan, she looked unhappy. As in, it's not even like she said something to the fan. They were like, why does she look unhappy? And another one I saw was, you know how people cross arms like this? She was listening to another CEO and she had her arms like this. And people were like, why is she crossing her arms? That's so disrespectful. She's literally just standing there. She's literally standing there like this and they're like, disrespectful. She's giving attitude. You could just tell in the photo. Another idol, it was a male idol, and someone said they took off their hat too fast at the airport before they were getting checked at the airport security. They're walking and they take off their hat like this and they're like, oh, did you see that? He just expressed anger when taking off the hat. Are we serious? Oh, was it one of the Rise member? I think it was Rise Seungchan. Like, I'm like, are you serious with me? Like, are you actually serious? And I feel like this is double standard because when it comes to certain idols, when they're not famous, the general public just don't know about them. They just don't know, don't care. And as a result, even if they actually do something wrong, they just don't get much attention for it. Meanwhile, on the other end, these popular idols, just by existing, they get hated on. And I feel like this double standard is not just for idols, but to human beings. As in, why are these people putting double standards that they won't even pass as themselves? It's such a double standard for the idol and you, like them, like the person talking. As in, look at that. He took off the hat too fast at the airport. How disrespectful. And then they go home and then they yell at their mom saying, why don't we have Lay's chips in the storage? Like, I told you to buy more chips. And like, or something like, I need money because I need to go to the concert. And I was, you know, why are you living a below human life standard of ethics and then pushing them, they're literally held up to Jesus standard. And I'm not lying about Jesus standard. Do you guys get what I mean? Like, people expect them to be as clean as Jesus Christ or like Buddha, which is crazy. Even Jesus gets angry if we read the Bible. So I just think it's crazy. But at the same time, I do think there are some things that famous idols, they get away because they are famous. I'm not gonna mention any specific case, but if it's hurtful to the company, then the reason why they get away is because the big companies, they're able to cover things up. They have the big media control and they have the whole team comment section manipulating. So when there is something that company doesn't want the idols to be canceled for, they bury everything. And it makes me think, the whole double standards is not even the general public. It almost feels like the big companies gets to decide which controversies to become true and which controversies to not become true. And then the people, they're like fishes. When they get fed with the teas to get hated, like, oh, we should start hating this person for this, then they just like, oh, there's new food, we should hate on this person. And the company just gets to decide who to cancel. Going into another double standard for popular idols, do you guys remember when aespa Karina got caught dating? Karina and aespa being a popular idol also affected so strongly. As in, sometimes there's news about not that famous idols dating another person. And then I go to the comment section, you know what people say? Who is this 누구? I don't care. Like, I don't care if they get married or have 3 children. And then, meanwhile, when RM holds someone's hand, people are like, oh, did he just hold hands? And the thing is, like, when they do date, the level they get digged up is crazier. I don't necessarily know if this is like a double standard thing. It might simply be the side effect of being too famous. But I feel that with Jimin from BTS, where, are you guys aware, this is a little bit sensitive topic, but there's a crazy, not just the fans aspect, but there's also a crazy girl. I'm not gonna mention the detail, but I personally felt in this situation, Jimin is getting teared apart by some people online because people are stalking him too much. And because it sells better to companies like Dispatch. You guys ever heard of Dispatch? It's basically Korea's gossip newspaper. They are most famous paparazzis. And for them, groups like Stray Kids, BTS, Blackpink, aespa, they just make a lot of money. So they're always the target. So I definitely think there is unfair double standards that people put when it comes to ethics or dating in popular groups. And some people say, oh, you need to go through that because that's part of being famous. Guys. I feel like this is the same logic as, oh, your work could be life-threatening because you get paid a lot. As in, I don't think the risk of being famous and the downside is something that's like you could go up to them and say, you deserve it. You deserve to be held at the standard. As in, that's something that they have to personally change their mentality for, not you to preach to them, and then not for you to justify your double standards on them. Like, I don't like how people justify their double standards by saying, oh, it's because they're famous, like they deserve it. I also think when it comes to double standard between famous idols and less famous idols, there's always a fandom power difference. So sometimes when a strong fandom idol have a beef or tea or drama with a smaller fandom idol, then it becomes like a fandom war. I don't know if you guys ever witnessed one of them. There's actually a case recently in Korea, a issue with Boy Next Door's member, I'm not gonna specify, with a small idol group's member. Explain the backstory. One of the members of Boy Next Door, I know his name but I'm just not mentioning, did a dance challenge with another small idol group. And people say, oh, he's not trying hard in this dance challenge because the other idol is not famous. By the way, personally, I don't agree with the whole cancel thing, but I thought it was ironic how the bigger fandom is actually getting hated. And I felt this is not just because of the idol. It's also because there are fandoms that people are waiting to throw stones at. So this is not even like a double standard for the idol. This is double standard for the fandom. That idols get affected. As in, you guys ever hear stuff about, oh, blinks are toxic. Oh, one doors never admit they're wrong. Oh, armies are toxic, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm saying is like, people start to create beef with another fandom. And then when there's a controversy, people just want to hate on the fandom and the idol becomes the target. And I feel like the recent case of Boy Next Door is actually because people are waiting to hate on the Boy Next Door fandom. I actually felt that way, genuinely. And here's the thing. Obviously, there's complex reason, but, and again, same thing like I just said earlier. And then people say this, oh, they were mean to our idol, so their fandom needs to know what it feels like for their idol to also be hated on. That doesn't justify anything. I swear, it doesn't. It doesn't. Also because, how do you know the person who threw the stone is the same person that you're throwing the stones back to? I'm not saying revenge is always wrong, but if you do revenge on a fandom, usually what happens is the toxic ones attack the non-toxic fandoms. So the ones who throw stones keep throwing stones, and the normal fans just constantly get hated. In some way, how is this all this different from the way people justify racism? Like, it's like the same method. So I do think there is double standard even when it comes to fandoms. Here's the conclusion that I wanted to reach out to. I think overall in our society, especially when it comes to internet, I think a lot of people, a lot of our generation lacks forgiveness. I think we need to be a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more understanding and not apply different standard we apply to them as we do to ourselves. If we're able to keep the same standards as we do to them, then we won't be having unnecessarily exceeding level of hate. And I also think what we need to focus when it comes to double standard is not the difference in the result, as in, oh, why are this person getting more canceled or this person getting less canceled? I think it's more of the process, as in, are we really judging them under the same process? So that's why I like to a lot of times follow judicial decision, as in court decision. And I don't really like to cancel people before court decision and things like that, because I want to make sure we apply the same standard for the people. Instead of, oh, because people all of a sudden are hating on this person, we should also hate them, kind of bandwagoned. Then our standard keeps moving. We won't be able to be fair in our judgment. And wrapping up this talk, whenever I have this kind of opinionated talk, I shared a lot of my personal opinions here. I'm always afraid because sharing opinions in nowadays world, it could make some people agree with me, but it also has a lot of people who disagree with me. And people who disagree could also hate me as well. They might not agree with my ideology. So I am a little bit concerned, and I think, maybe I shouldn't post this because I don't want people to hate me. But I guess I wish you also give me a little bit of forgiveness as well. And I just wanted to share my personal opinion. I don't necessarily think I'm always correct. There is freedom of speech, but I'm not even asking for freedom of speech. I want people to also like me. All right. Thank you, everybody.